Welcome back to Training News United States. Now I will tell you top 10 training politics news. What's going on? Number 1. President Donald Trump fights with COVID-19 and surprise to his supporters. According to CNN, President Donald Trump's fight with COVID-19 has so far not convinced him to prioritize a responsible approach to a pandemic that has killed 209,000 Americans over his own political needs. Trump left the hospital with his security so he could ride in an SUV past supporters cheering him on outside Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, while the move is being seen as a show of strength by Donald Trump amid the ongoing election campaign. It has drawn flack online, with many criticizing Trump for endangering the lives of his security staff. Government also recommend to stop the spread of the virus, which has infected 7 million Americans. It was the latest flagrant sign of politics superseding Trump's duties as a steward of the national well-being, with election day only 29 days away and voting in many states already underway. It came amid lingering confusion about the president's true state of health after a weekend in which the White House undertook strenuous efforts to minimize the seriousness of his case. But details about the cocktail of therapies that he is taking suggest that he is experiencing complications from the disease. Even as his doctor said it was possible he could return to the White House Monday. Number 2. White House physician Navy Commander Dr. Sean Conley admitted on Sunday to not telling the full truth about Trump's condition the day before, including about 2 drops in his oxygen levels, to avoid overshadowing the upbeat official line on the president's health. Trump and his aides worked hard to show he was strong and getting better before he faces off with Democratic nominee Joe Biden, whose campaign said again tested negative on Sunday. But the contradictions and misrepresentations from his medical team means that Americans can have no confidence that the White House is giving a complete picture of what's going on. Conflicting messages and half-truths underscored the administration's inability to properly manage the machinery of the state and to understand the importance of sending clear information about the president's health and the continuity of power to Americans and potential adversaries abroad. Number 3. Dr. Anthony Fauci said everyone who was at the White House Rose Garden event should absolutely be contacted by contact tracers. I don't know what the process of the contact tracing is that going on at the White House. In general, CDC is very much involved with the local authority. Berman said he was surprised to hear that the New York Times reporter Mike Scheer contact tracing. It should be that all those people were contacted. Fauci said yes, absolutely. But the one thing we know is that when you get cases, if you have a situation where someone comes into contact and gets infected and you know that there are people around him and that it is the important public health measures is to do the identification, isolation, and contact tracing. Also, he spoke about the goal so that people who have been exposed to go into the appropriate quarantine, get tested, and do the things that are very clearly delineated in the CDC guidelines. Number 4. Trump tweets and video message. He tweeted on 5th October 2020 at 4:40 p.m. Fights the graph fake news media. Vote. 4:42 p.m. Save our Second Amendment. Vote. 4:44 p.m. Peace through strength. Bring our soldiers home. Vote. He also tweeted, "Thank you, and remember that the stock market is getting ready to break its all-time high." Trump wrote, "Next year will be the best ever. Vote, vote, vote." Then 4:15 p.m. Virginia voters, your governor wants to obliterate your Second Amendment. I have stopped him. I am the only thing between you and your Second Amendment. Working hard in Virginia, it's in play. Better vote for your favorite president or wave goodbye to low taxes and gun rights. Trump also warned that Democrats would enact tax increases and that Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, a Democrat, wants to obliterate the Second Amendment. Then in the viral video, he told that, "I came here, I wasn't feeling so well. I feel much better now. We are working hard to get me all the way back. I have to be back because we still have to make America great again." Number 5. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said, "The administration is optimistic. President Trump will be able to return to the White House on Monday after spending several days at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center being treated for coronavirus, saying Trump's health improved overnight and the president is ready to get back to a normal working schedule." Number 6. Joe Biden now holds a 14% points lead against Trump, with 53% of voters backing the Democratic leaders while 39% backing the president. Number 7. Joe Biden tweets, "Before we are Democrats or Republicans or Independents, we are Americans. We can't forget that." Next, he tweeted, "Today marks 30 days until Election Day. 30 days until we begin to restore the soul of the nation. Chip into power our campaign through this final stretch." Next, the economy, climate change, healthcare, civil rights, racial justice, the US Supreme Court, our democracy. They are all on the line. Vote. Next, he tweeted, "Imagine a future where healthcare is right. We end the gun violence epidemic. We combat climate change. Our government works for everyone. It's a future that we can build together." Number 8. Trump wants to return to the White House, the sources say. According to CNN, he's done with the hospital. One of the sources said of Trump's mood yesterday. Trump is concerned the sight of him being hospitalized makes him look weak, the other sources say. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said earlier this morning that a determination by Trump's doctors as to whether the president would return to the White House would be made later today. Number 9. In a video, President Donald Trump said, "I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school. I get it and I understand it." The president's subsequent jaunt outside the hospital in Bethesda, Maryland clearly showed his education in COVID-19 doesn't include new respect for social distancing. Such precautions were also ignored at the mostly mask-free event at the White House 9 days ago, at which Trump nominated Judge Amy Coney Barrett for the Supreme Court. At least 8 people who attended the event, including the president, have been infected with COVID-19. Trump also ignored precautions at a fundraising event in New Jersey Thursday, where he went despite knowing his close aide, Hopkins, had been diagnosed with COVID-19. White House Press Secretary Kelly McEnany said Sunday that the president learned about his positive test when he returned from the trip. She didn't say when he took the test, and given the obfuscation by the White House over the weekend, the truthfulness of any official statements at this point is in serious doubt. Certainly, looking at the risk of transmission of COVID-19, what we know is being in enclosed spaces is dangerous, Phillips said on the Situation Room on CNN. Mask or no mask, being inside a vehicle that is hermetically circulates virus inside and potentially puts people at risk. The White House insisted that the car ride was clearly by the president's medical team, but there is no medical protocol that suggests it is advisable for a patient with a serious contagious illness to leave a hospital until they have recovered or are no longer contagious. Trump's desire to show that he is fit compels him to bask in the adoration of his supporters, and desire to dictate news coverage is typical. But his latest behavior also may hint at how he feels about the political impact of his confinement. A month before an election in which He is trailing Biden, and that threatens to turn on his mismanagement of the pandemic. Trump, who has spent the last two presidential campaigns attacking the health of his rivals Hillary Clinton and Biden, cannot afford to look weak at this critical moment. Who has spent the last two presidential campaigns attacking the health of his rivals Hillary Clinton and Biden cannot afford to look weak at this critical moment. A NBC or Wall Street Journal survey taken following Trump's worst performance at last week's first presidential debate showed Biden leading 53% to 39% among registered voters nationally. An NBC News or IPSOS poll conducted after news about the president's coronavirus diagnosis found that 72% of voters believe the president didn't take the threat of contracting coronavirus sufficiently seriously. A CBS News poll, meanwhile, found Biden with a 7-point leading among likely voters in the key swing state of Pennsylvania and even with Trump in Ohio, another Midwestern battleground that went to the president in 2016. These surveys were largely completed by the time the president's coronavirus diagnosis became known. Trump's doctor revealed that the president had suffered several alarming drops in oxygen levels. Conley again delivered a briefing that raised more questions than it answered about Trump's condition. He said that he didn't mention drops in Trump's oxygen levels Saturday because he didn't want to give any information that might steer the course of illness in another direction. He acknowledged that his evasive answers came off that we were trying to hide something, but said that wasn't necessarily true, adding that the president is doing really well and is responding to treatment. The episodes prompted doctors to start treating Trump with the steroid drug dexamethasone, which has been shown to help patients with COVID-19. It is typically given to patients on supplemental oxygen or ventilation. Conley also hinted at more unrevealed details when he refused to say what was revealed by X-rays or CT scans of Trump's lungs. There are some expected findings, but nothing of any major clinical concern, he said. All patients have expectations of privacy, but Trump shoulders a public trust given his position. It is not just crucial for voters to have some understanding of his condition. The health of the president is a crucial national security issue, and commanders-in-chief have a higher duty to disclose it than regular citizens. The approach taken by the president's doctors suggests to many experts that the White House has been downplaying the seriousness of his condition as he fights a disease in which a patient can quickly deteriorate during the course of the infection over a period of days, said Doctor. His physicians are treating him very aggressively, and based on what we know so far, the president is ill, said Dr. Patrice Harris, a past president of the American Medical Association. We note that a past president of the American Medical Association told CNN's Old Blazer. We know that during the course of the illness, a patient can feel just fine and suddenly take a turn for the worse. So really, for the president's own health and safety, this visit outside of the hospital was quite risky today. Number 10. Trump's campaign rocked. President Donald Trump's campaign has been thrown into chaos, adjusting its tactics, messaging, and work environment following Trump and a number of top aides and political allies positive test for coronavirus. Trump is in the hospital. His campaign manager Bill Stephen and the Republican National Committee chair contracted the virus. All of the campaign's planned rallies and fundraisers featuring the president and his family are on hold, and Trump's ability to defeat Democratic rival Joe Biden again is uncertain. Trailing Biden with 1 month left in the 2020 race, Trump is now stuck in a position he spent months trying to avoid, faced with an election that is all about the coronavirus pandemic with no way to change the topic. Biden, meanwhile, has committed to getting tested more frequently as he continues in-person campaigning in the final month before election day. He is campaigning in Miami today, delivering remarks at 4 p.m. ET focused on the economy and the Hispanic community. With ballots already available in 35 states and voting beginning in the swing states of Arizona, Iowa, New Hampshire, and Ohio within the next week, millions of votes could be cast. With Trump sick with the virus he has downplayed for months. The next time Trump and Biden are scheduled to meet in person for a debate is October 15. The next time Trump and Biden are scheduled to meet in person for a debate is October 15 for a town hall style event in Miami, but it's unclear now whether Trump will be physically able to participate. The Commission on Presidential Debates is already preparing to make a change that is effectively Trump, whose guest declined a Cleveland Clinic doctor's request that they wear masks at the first debate on Tuesday. If you like this news, then hit the like button, subscribe to Trending News, the United States to stay updated, and love to know your opinion. You can share it in the comment box.